Today on the channel we have a living legend in my eyes, Mr. Andreas Strehler. How are you, sir?
Thank you.
It's
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well, and it's an honor to have you here. You know, I've been following your career for the last 15 years online. Heard great things about you from other watchmakers that you work with. I obviously also followed your line. You were one of the Opus watches creators as well, Opus 7, and it's nice to have you here.
Thank you.
And it's also refreshing to be, to have somebody here who is from the German part of Switzerland, not always the French-speaking parts. So today we're going to talk about what you did, what you do, and also the new launch that we're going to present today, which is from your other brand, which is called Strehler. So tell me, where did you start watchmaking? What was the beginning of your journey, let's say? Because you've been doing it for a while now.
Yeah, I do it now for a while, like you say, over 30 years. I started in 95 with my own workshop. At the beginning it was a repairsman workshop, but you have to know, before this I was during 4 years responsible for prototyping at Renault Papier. I was one of the first watchmakers there. And but then I decided to do something on my own, and started as a base business with restoration of antique and vintage watches, clocks. But I always had in mind to build my own watches, and but I wanted to do something which we haven't done at Renault Papier. I don't wanted to just copy paste what they did. I wanted to do my own way. So in 98 I launched my first piece, which was the Tischkalender, which is like a sympathy clock. You have, it's not a clock, basically it's a calendar. So you have a cradle where you can put your watch. I saw that many people take off their watch when they come to the desk and put it in front of them. So the idea was you put the watch into a cradle. Then you have a complete set, timekeeping, calendar, perpetual calendar indication. But the clue is when you take off the watch, the calendar will stop because the calendar has no timekeeping in it. It's only the watch which manages everything. You go away. After a few days, you come back to your office. The calendar is still the date you left. It can be even up to 3 weeks offset. The watch, you kept it running, you wound it, and so, but the watch doesn't indicate any calendar. So nothing is in double. Everything is just for the purpose. Then you put the watch in the calendar, and you can see how the calendar will be set by the watch day by day until it's the calendar date of today.
Yeah.
So I launched this in 98. I had the idea, I was young, I was quite young then. I had the idea, like it was written in all the books and magazines, yeah, big innovation and so on. And I thought, big innovation, I have to do really something pushing the boundaries, and I will be famous. I hoped so. And finally, I was at the Basel Fair. People didn't really respect me. At that time, it was difficult for independent watchmakers.
Yeah, we're talking which year approximately? 2005 or
No,
before?
in 1998.
Okay, yeah.
1998.
Yeah, it's the beginning, yeah.
Last century.
Yeah. There was Jorn, you, Vianney Halter, Urwerk guys. A bit.
Vianney launched the same year. Urwerk started a year before.
Yeah.
Haldiman, I think the same year or the year after. It was all about at the same moment. But for me, it was no success. I was young and I was looking even younger. The people said, oh yeah, it's your apprentice piece. No, I invested 3,000 hours on this piece. It's not an apprentice piece, and it's a serious piece, but the price was high for that time. So people didn't respect. They said, yeah, you have to do something less expensive. So I made the next product just a year after, the Zwei, the switching indication, which has, it's a common display for several indications. The idea was also, from the digital work, you have a screen or a display which can indicate several stuff. So what is the screen on the watch? It's the dial. So you have simply hours and minutes. You normally can set it by the crown, that's normal. and they turn continuously. You push on the button, the hands will move, and they will indicate months and date.
Okay. And they will again calculate.
And you release the button, they go back to time.
Yeah.
When you want to set the date, you just switch on date, you pull the crown, and you can set it like a normal time indication, but as the date.
And with the moon phase on the back as well?
No, on the back it wasn't the moon phase, it was the day and night indication, because you needed to know when it's midnight, because the passage of the date is at midnight, and like you can't see the time and the date at the same time as you do normally in calendar watches. You search the moment. You need the additional information of day and night on the back. So I launched this the year after. It was too early to launch directly a new innovation. People, now the watch from the calendar has now a new function. No, it's a different model. It's a new model. It was difficult to communicate. And I'm really bad in communications.
I wouldn't say now, honestly.
Yeah.
But back then, maybe.
It's a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I continued. I made the Zwei 2 years later, even as a concept in a wristwatch. But I never sold anything. And but the reaction was more from the industry.
You're behind one of my personal grail watches, the Grünewald Remontoir.
This came a bit later, yes. But before I started also to make the movements, to design and engineer the movements for Moser.
Yeah.
So the first 10 movements have been designed by me. Which one of them is the most famous, the perpetual one?
Of course,
which is still in production.
And very sturdy movements.
Yeah.
So you don't make just beautifully watches, you make them mechanically capable.
This comes from my older work of restoration of antique pieces. I saw what is resistant, what not, what should I do and what not. That's a bit the problem of modern engineers. They only learn what's the best way, but they don't see on which direction the way could go wrong, because they only have seen the good way. And when you have worked on antique pieces, then you know, don't do this, this will be worn out in a year, and stuff like this. So it's a good training to do restoration of antique pieces. And then it came Harry Winston.
The Opus 7.
The Opus 7.
Which we spoke about. Looks simple, but it's absolutely not simple.
It is not simple, but
you gotta understand it.
Yeah, it uses the same pattern of the switching indication.
And you brought a very beautiful watch in your wrist today, and a model which accompanies it as well. What are you adding today?
Tourbillon transaxial remontoir d'égalité. Tourbillon, but it's much more important under the tourbillon, in the same axis. So it's a transaxial system. We have on the backside a constant force mechanism, which maintains always the same energy on the tourbillon, on the escapement during the full power reserve. So we have from 0 to maximum, we always have the same amplitude.
There's no deviation at the beginning or the end.
Yes.
It's always...
That's only one timing. It's the one which the remontoir is doing. Basically, this is the same mechanism. This is on the sauterelle, but it's absolutely the same mechanism. Really special on it is...
everything.
Everything, yeah.
Being humble here, but this is sick watch.
What's really special on it is the design of the movement. So everything is open. Like on my Papillon d'Or, like on the Lune Exact, you can see into the movement. And everything you see, you think there must be much more behind. But behind it's nothing more, it's just the back. Because there's nothing in between. It's all fully visible
showcased
from top. The hands are blue steel. We have the chaptering in silver. Power reserve indication is also quite tricky. You have the axis of the power reserve is under the chaptering, and then it goes up to the retrograde center. You see here the hand. But the pivoting point is lower, so it's bent this way.
Okay. It's a 1 second remontoir.
It's a 1 second remontoire.
Yeah.
And with this you see also that the seconds hand jumps every second.
Yeah. Like a dead beat.
Like a dead beat, but like the whole gear train is jumping every second, I can connect this everywhere in the watch. And so I connect it directly with this big wheel in the center. On one side, the remontoire of the tourbillon, and on this side, you have directly the pinion for the small second. And there's no extra gear to go around. And this goes through the mainspring arbor to indicate on the other side the seconds.
Yeah. And what's the case shape called? Is it oval or?
I call it simply cocon.
Yeah.
So it encloses a butterfly and it's a cocon.
It's beautiful. Very light, huh?
Yeah, it's titanium. It's surprising. This has about the same weight as the Sirna automatic from the Strehler collection.
Awesome. And on the topic of the Strehler collection and Sirna, we are here today to present a beautiful watch, the new Worldtimer, the Säntis. But you started the Strehler brand with a more simple watch, let's say. Well, let's maybe go through them because you brought a few models here, and I don't know what's inside. I see this one has no strap, so it's probably more special. Tell me, what's the first watch, and why did you make the Strehler brand?
Basically, the Strehler brand, it was a bit like in fashion, or let's say haute couture. You have haute couture, which is made, custom made to the customer. It's tailored to the customer, like the Andreas Strehler watches are. And I wanted to do, as many haute couture brands also are searching a bit in a different way, I wanted to have a pret-à-porter collection, which is a standard production. So each watch is as we intend to do it, a bit like common watch brands, but with a different approach. And I wanted to do it in a bigger series, but it's not such big. And so I launched the brand Strehler with the first model Sirna. Sirna comes from the village we are, which is called Sirnach. Before there was another company which was called Sirna, and it was a textile company. So it's a bit homage to the building.
Yeah, nice.
So the Strehler is just a daily watch, slim, elegant, but fully in-house, like the Andreas Strehler. But here we have a continuous production of identical pieces, so we come down with the price to a different level. It's more an industrial approach than a unique piece approach.
Yeah.
So we launched the Siena a few years ago, two or 3 years.
And you said it comes all with the same dial?
Yes.
No customizations, nothing.
Yes. When you have the chance that this serial number you want is still available, you can have it, but
That's the maximum.
That's the maximum, yes. And you can
Nice,
choose the stripes.
It's gorgeous, and I love the dial. So for those who are wondering, what's the, let's say, lowest price point of your Andreas Strehler pieces, approximately? Where do we begin?
This was on the limited series of the Time Shadow. It was 57,000, I think.
Okay, and with the Strehler timepieces?
Strehler, we start with the Sirna with 20,000.
With the beautiful dial and the beautiful automatic rotor. Again, very robust. And the thing with you is that I just trust you, you know? So I know the watch is going to work. There's not going to be any weird surprises down the line. So what's the dial made out of? It's a very beautiful pattern on the Siena.
Yes, the dial is made of titanium, massive titanium. The pattern was proposed by Eric Giraud, designer, you probably know.
Of course, yeah.
From a lot of products.
Yeah,
He's working
exactly.
a bit similar to me, works for severals, but...
a bit of everywhere, yeah.
and he leaves always his footprint somewhere. The pattern he proposed, also the layout of the dial, because when I first designed it, it was more looking like a vintage watch. And he said, no, it needs to have more identity of Andreas Strehler in it and keep it as a Strehler. And so we kept the same hands, we kept the similar chapterings like on the Papillon d'Or, elements like this. And the pattern is a three-dimensional pattern which can't be machined other than by laser.
Yeah.
So we have our own workshop for everything and also laser machining. This is an extremely difficult machining on titanium because titanium can burn, can melt. while machining. So it's really slow machining. One dial just for laser machining takes about 30 hours only machining.
Wow.
And then we have another few hours for polishing and to make them blue.
And this is a not a limited edition, it's a
No.
regular production.
Yeah.
It's just limited by the amount of watches you can do per year.
Yes.
Correct?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Even on the Sirna or the Strehler collection, all mechanical parts are produced in the workshop. There are a few exceptions like the jewels, like crystals, gaskets,
Yeah, of course.
mainspring and hairspring, because they are laminated part, not machined, where we have to get them, but they are all made up in my design. It's 100% manufactured. I think it's one of the deepest manufacturing process we can achieve. Dial making, hands, everything is in-house.
Beautiful. Why did you decide to make this next piece? And please show us. What do we have here in the pouches?
Why it's always difficult why I decide to make a next piece, because I wanted to do something, and we had already a customer which likes to work with us. He already has other Andreas Strehler pieces, and when he saw the Siena, he said, yeah,
Can you make a custom one?
yes, or in the case you would do a world time out of it, I would be interested. And so it was the development of a world time, this time more traditional world time compared to the Srehler Heure Mondiale, which is my other world timer,
Yeah.
which also
Slightly more complicated. Which I had a pleasure to film, by the way, with Boris Pjanic. Shout out.
and which
Beautiful
was
piece.
the first piece also for the same customer.
Nice. It's just the same guy. Nice.
And so I created a piece which looks more like traditional world timers. It's the kind of indication called courtier.
Exactly, yeah.
So you have normal hands, hours, minutes, and additional you have a rim which turns in 24 hours like the globe is turning, and corresponding cities around of it. I just made it a little bit higher than the movement before. So it's an add-on or semi-integrated module. So it only makes 1 millimeter more than the Siena.
Yeah, which is nothing. I mean, for what you did here, it's a very slim watch still.
Yeah, you have on the first position, like you found out, you have the fast adjustment of the world time. In one direction of the crown, you set the 24 hours so as to align them. And that's normally all you can do on Courtier dials, because the cities are fixed. But here we have also the possibility to offset the cities, the time zones. This gives you the possibility to select your home time always on top, if it's not Europe. By the way, I didn't indicate Zurich, Berlin or something for the time zone.
Is it Sirna?
No,
Säntis?
no, it's just Strehler. We needed to put the name of the brand somewhere, and so it was no space. So
Smart. I will find it. Huh? Zurich. I was looking. Yeah, where's the name? There isn't one, huh?
it's on the time zone.
It's the time zones. Nice. Because on the first one, the automatic, the Sirna, it's this is now the same dial, slightly different color, and the pattern you change as well. What did you do with the pattern?
Yeah, on the Säntis we made the same pattern as the Siena, but in a twist. So it gives more dynamic. It's always difficult to take them on picture, because on picture it looks like it could be a print, it could be a guilloche, but it's not something like this. But once you move it,
Oh, it's beautiful.
the reflections, it's really a living
Exactly, yeah. It
dial.
lives. Yeah. It looks like scales or something.
Yes, and that's what we wanted to achieve with it.
And then the hands are different than from the
Yeah.
Sirna. Are these also from a different watch? Or?
Yes, they are derived from another Andreas Strehler, or two other watches which have similar hands with loom. That's the one is the Time Shadow, and the other one is the Lune Exact.
Yeah.
The hands are domed in the length axis, but the minute hand is also bent down. And instead of bending it and not to be sure where it ends, we decided to machine it directly with the shape.
Yeah.
It's all machined in shape.
So the curve is machined. Huh?
Yes. And then it needs a lot of hand polishing because curve machining is not so smooth. So, and we made a special big depot for superluminova into the hands. So they glow not really like a torch, but almost. And the same we also did on the chaptering outside. There's also the dots and the lines are with superluminova, and even the printing on the 24 hours and the cities are printed with superluminova.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I can't wait to show this.
This is a practical side because we asked some customers what they would prefer for a world time, and they said, if world time, then I must be able to read it on the plane.
Okay.
So often there's dark during travel, and I want to see my time on the plane. So we decided, okay, do it with loom.
Makes sense.
And for loom, we have this style of hands.
Makes sense. And they're beautiful. And the dial is living, like you said. I just, when I turn it around a bit, you know, and play with the light, it's just, it seems like the pattern is going into like a different direction, you know, kind of.
It is.
It's so beautiful.
It's mesmerizing effect.
And I love your case. It's slim, but very beautifully polished, and it feels like super, super nice, huh?
Yes, that's an important point.
Really
that's
good
the
case.
reason I wanted to do the cases in-house, because when I want to have edges, I want to keep the edges. Often when I worked with outside case makers, it was polished, yes, but what was a bevel before was then rounded at the end. And I want really, if I want a bevel, it has to be a bevel. And so we invest a lot of time in case polishing and even the buckle.
Yeah.
The buckle, it's made in-house in the workshop. So
Beautiful. And there is a small papillon.
yes,
Butterfly.
we kept the butterfly into the crown.
Exactly.
And what's really cool already on the Sirna, but on the Säntis too, is that we have the same matching color in the crown like the dial.
Yeah.
Because it's also a titanium insert into the crown, which is colored to the same.
Yeah. Beautiful. You don't color them at the same time, right? Just to the same specs, basically.
Yes. Like we have the process really repeatable, so we can do it with an exact color.
Gorgeous. And the movement is the same as on the base is the same as on the Sirna?
It's basically the same. It's our 30A movement, which is 30 millimeters automatic, with gold automatic weight.
Beautifully decorated as well, huh?
Yes, yes. The automatic weight is hand beveled. The movement is industrial beveled, so it's not hand finishing everywhere. That's also a bit,
of course, for
an
the price point as
approach
well.
for the watch. And yeah,
gorgeous.
We now added different ball bearing for the new series from now on. The ball bearing is now a hybrid ball bearing, so it has ceramic balls and steel mounting. This is new, but unfortunately the ceramic ball bearings, we can't make them in-house. So these are now from an outside supplier. Before we did the ball bearings in-house with the steel balls, but yeah.
Yeah, listen, one day. You do most of it yourself, so I think you can outsource one or two things.
Yeah.
And especially like for the price of what's the price of the Worldtimer, by the way? Because the Siena was 20,000 Swiss francs.
Yep.
Or is still, I think, excluding VAT. And the Worldtimer
is 24,750.
Yeah, awesome. I think that's a great price for coming from somebody like you, with the finishing you have. And again, I think, you know, I don't say this often, but the case is one of my favorite elements of this watch. Huh?
Of course, you have always.
Just feels amazing.
That's also something I had to learn from my early stage.
And I'm not a case guy, like per se.
What I had to learn from my early days, for me, I'm watchmaker. Everything is the movement. But I found out that that's not selling the watch. The watch has three elements which sells: dial, case, strap.
Mm-hmm.
If those doesn't fit, people don't buy.
Yeah.
The movement is the argument to select this brand. And it has to be perfect or as good as possible. But if the case, the look of the watch isn't as good as your watch you have on the wrist, you don't buy it.
Yeah.
So this I had to learn. And back again, I told you that I didn't sell anything at the beginning. It took 10 years from my first launch until my first sold watch under my name.
Wow. Okay. It's
Today it's different.
It's a nice perspective, yeah, because today students make a drawing and people buy it, you know, if it's 50, 80K, 100K. But back in the day, I mean, you and others like Jorn, the Urver guys, Vianney, obviously Haldiman and Andersen and others, you really paved the way. You, how do you say, you walked so the others now can sprint basically. Because nowadays, when I interview people, everybody's sold out. And most of them haven't delivered one watch yet. You know, so it's nice to see your perspective of basically how it was in real life, you know, back in the day when you had to really push to sell a watch and sell it, an argument and everything else. But congratulations, by the way, on all the success and being this staple, I think you are. You have also a few different versions here.
Yep.
A golden dial. Then there is one that is a bit lighter blue. I'm going to put them side by side and let me check. Yes, the crown is the same color as the dial. You're right. It's very cool. And what is this here?
This was the proof of concept of the watch. So we already made the case corresponding. We used, this is a crown from the Siena. And you see even on the movement that's no automatic weight, it's not plated, they're just parts which we used just to make a proof of concept. So this was, and you see even on the dial, it's a violet, gold, something.
But it's cool, huh?
Yeah, it was just a test.
But it's a very cool piece.
The same for the rims, we just laser engraved them to have indications on them.
There's no day and night differentiating.
No, it was just as a test, so it works. We could test
if the rings move.
The rims move, so they move by steps. The same on the.
Nice, and the hands are the same as on the Sirna, basically.
Yeah, these are the Siena hands we used on it until we found out we need something else.
And what is this here? You brought something.
This is just a selection of colors. This is our color palette we can do, or what we selected as possible colors on the Säntis. So at the moment we have this color for the light blue, the darker blue, and we have this yellow. But we can do up to green, almost everything. So we fixed 20 colors which can be made on the watch.
Yeah. So not on the Sirna, but
Sirna
on the Säntis Worldtimer.
On the Säntis Worldtimer, you can select one of those colors. Nothing is limited. That's the only customizing we can accept, a different color.
So basically, if, let's say I want a Säntis, I contact you guys, and you tell me I choose one of these colors, and then I get it. It's not like limited by, let's say 10 blue, 10 gold, 10 green.
No. It's not limited. We can only do a good approach in price when we are free with the production.
Awesome. And this is available by the time this video goes live, basically. Mr. Strehler, it was an honor.
Thank you.
I would love to visit your workshop one day and do a video there with some other pieces like the
You're
tourbillon.
welcome.
Thank you. We'll definitely make that happen. And guys, if you have some questions, leave a comment down below. Contact in the link description, and hope you liked it.